Well, hey, everybody. It is so good to be online with you today. We're going to share with you a message that I believe has the potential to change the next 3 or 4 months of your life, and potentially because of that, so much that happens after that. We're going to do a message today. I'm calling it Summer Vision. I'm excited for what it means for you. Next Sunday, though, we start a very fun series called Bad Girls. I've invited, I guess we could just call them our bad girls. Some of our ladies on staff are going to be sharing throughout the month of June, along with me, team teaching with me each Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I believe you're going to want to be here because there's going to be so much to learn and take away from their wisdom and from our time together. That starts next Sunday. Now, I want you to think about vision. Okay, vision is what you see. So when you look at summer, right? When you look at summer, look over your summer, what do you see? What do you see? Do you see a chance to finally get a break? Oh, it's been so busy, I just need a break. Is that what your summer looks like? When you look over, does it look busy? Just busy. When you look over your summer, just proverbially taking a step back, looking over it, do you like, I just need some rest. Somebody get these kids out of here, right? Or do you see an opportunity for fun and recreation? See, vision, all right? Your vision is what you see. And sometimes we need to change our vision because what we see is not what we need to see. You ever been around your kids, you're looking at them like, y'all just get on my nerves. And really what you see when you look at your kids is a burden. And you know you need to take a step back and actually look at them and see a blessing. Money's a great example of that. All right, we can look at money and we can see the money that we have in our lives and say, I earned that. I'm going to do whatever I want to. Or we can see money as a gift. It was given to me by God, and because it was given to me, I need to know that I'm going to continually go back to God and say, God, whatever you want me to do with that it's yours. You gave it to me. If you want to change where you're going and what you get, you want to change, start with changing your vision. Let's go back to those things that many of us think about when we look at summer. I just need a break. I just need a break. What do you need a break from? Is your life that broken? Because what's going to happen is the same thing that happened last year. You got a break, and then all of a sudden you came back to the same broken cycle. You're busy, right? You look over your summer. What am I going to be? I'm just going to be busy. What are you going to earn by the end of your summer, right? I'm going to go here. We're going to go here. This vacation, this trip. The kids got camp. I've got this, and this. What do you earn? What do you actually walk out of summer? The only thing you walk out with is, I'm tired. I'm just tired. Maybe I need some rest. Okay, good. Rest is a good, holy thing, but if you take a few days off just to disconnect and rest and you're still tired, you probably need to hear this. You're not tired. It's something else. And if you're like, I just want to have some fun. I want to do some things with my good. That's a wonderful thing. But if the only goal you have is fun, you're going to end up at the end with something that's not fun. You might end up with some broken relationships and some discord in your family and some tickets and some, what would it be? For many of us, the truth is that down deep, we want something different. But if you want something different, you need a different vision. You need a different vision. And we need a different vision for summer. So I want to talk about that. Why is it important in summer? During summer, we experience an increase in our margin. We have a little bit more, maybe financial kind of resources to do some stuff. And really, especially, we experience a higher degree of margin in our time. Okay? What's margin? The difference between what we have and what we need is our margin. And the thing about increased margin is increased margin exposes our vision. Can I just get practical about that? Right? Imagine you made plans for the evening, right? You made plans and they fall through, and all of a sudden you've got margin. What do you do with it? Some of us are like, I'm going to take a nap. I'm tired. I'm going to spend the next 4 hours watching TV. Or do you? We have a vision, and I know we're working on our marriage. We weren't planning on it, but why don't we go on a date tonight? More margin exposes your vision, your practical vision. Not just what you say you want in life, but really what you see in life. Happens with money. You get blessed, you get a check that I wasn't expecting that, didn't think I was going to get that, but all of a sudden those funds come rolling in. What do we think? I'm going to go buy them shoes I've been wanting. Oh, let's go take that trip. Or is your vision financially to save and give and prepare for the future? What do? More margin exposes your vision, and often this is what happens. Our vision for life hijacks our resources to fulfill our wants instead of meeting our needs. Can I talk about wants and needs? If you're taking notes, this is in your notes. Number one, it's easy to confuse wants and needs. It's easy. One of our jobs as parents, if you have kids, is to teach our kids the difference between wants and needs. You just had dinner, and I don't know if your kids are like my kids, but we just had dinner. Just a few minutes later, I need a snack. You don't need a snack. You might want a snack, but you don't need a snack. Often in life, we're dealing with what I would call the lie of immediacy, that there's something that in the moment, I want it so bad that it almost lies to me that I need it. Have you noticed this? That we often sacrifice what we want ultimately? That we sacrifice what we ultimately need for what we want right now? There's probably no greater story in the Bible for that than Jacob and Esau, right? Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, and then Isaac has two sons, Jacob and Esau. And in Genesis 25, Esau sells his birthright for soup. His birthright, what does that mean? Esau was born first. That meant that he got a double portion of the inheritance, that he was the executor of the estate. When the father passed away, he would kind of gain control over the family. That was the birthright of the firstborn son. And there's something that happens in Genesis 25 where you see an exchange of this in verse 32 and 34. Look at this. Look, I'm about to die. Now Esau had come in from being outside. You're going to see this. He had been hunting. He had been serving. And Jacob is inside. Jacob's kind of like the girly guy. Esau's a manly guy. We know later on Esau's hairy, right? Look, I'm about to die. What good is the birthright to me? Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil soup. He ate it and drank it and then got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. He's hungry. Hunger is immediate. I need it right now. Birthright is ultimate. Esau sacrificed what he wanted right then for what he had been given ultimately. And do you notice what it says? He despised his birthright. He despised it. What good thing have you despised because of what you want right now? You know, sometimes we want fun. And we sacrifice a healthy marriage just to have some fun. There's some of us that we might even say that my wife is just always trying to keep me from having fun. I want to go do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she's always mad at me, always looking at me with those eyes. No? You're sacrificing what you ultimately want for what you want right now. And actually, it'll lead you to a place where you'll despise the good things in your life. Which is why, since it's so easy to confuse wants and needs, we need to address our vision and align our vision to what we need. Align your vision to what you need. This is where we blow it in the summer, all right? We align in the summer, we actually align our vision to what we want. I mean, what do we want? I want a break. I want to get some rest. I want to have some fun. Think about those things. A break, get some rest, have some fun. You ever noticed that if you decide, hey, we're going to go do this and it's going to be fun, it's still hard? You've actually got to go fight for it. I want to have a break. You actually got to fight to have a break. You got to fight to have some rest. It all requires effort and energy. You're going to have to fight for your vision, whatever your vision is. If your vision is I'm going to have fun, I don't care what my wife thinks about it, I'm going to go. And if she gets mad, it is whatever. You're going to have to fight for it. So if you have the wrong vision, you're going to have the wrong fight. And you need to ask this question, is my vision for my life really worth fighting for? I mean, is it? I mean, is that hobby that's constantly creating tension in your marriage, is it worth fighting for? Is that I just need y'all all to get out of here because I need a break? Is that worth fighting for? Because so many times what we're fighting for is not worth being fought for. Because it's something that we want, not something that we need. So what do we really need? I'm going to give you 5 things. 5 things that in life we really need. If you're in here and you're not married and you don't have kids, then there's a couple of these that don't apply to you. But let's go through this list. What do we really need? Number 1, a thriving relationship with God. Listen, I don't want you to just know God. I don't want you to just believe in the Bible. I want your relationship that you're relating to God and He is relating to you. You're giving praise and adoration and attention and you're receiving wisdom and guidance and blessing from God. I want you to thrive in your relationship with God. What else do we need? A healthy soul. There's something on the inside of you. You might know it as your brain or your heart. It's your soul. And I want your soul to be healthy. What else do we need? If you're married, a growing, enjoyable relationship with your spouse. I love those 2 words. Because there's some of us that we're trying to grow, but we're really not enjoying our spouse. And I want you to know that you can have both of those. You can have a growing, enjoyable relationship with your spouse. Then number 4, a relationship with your kids that's captured their hearts. I'm not talking about you having good kids that listen to you and mind you and do whatever you tell them to do. And when you go out in public, they don't even drip queso on the table. I'm talking about you having a relationship with your kids that's meeting them at their hearts. And then this is for all of us, number 5, a community. What are we of mutually invested, life-giving friendships? We need that. Are you fighting for that right now? Think about the conflict in your life. Think about it. Think about the struggle, the pain, the places in your life where there's financial difficulty and challenges. Is that what you're fighting for? Are you fighting for God? Are you fighting for your marriage? Are you fighting for your kids? Are you fighting for better friendships? Or are you fighting the wrong fight because you have the wrong vision? You'll never win at life if you're fighting the wrong fight. So I want to give you a new vision today. And I believe that your life could look different. What would your life look like if you got to September and you looked back and in those areas you're winning? I'm winning in my relationship with God and my soul and my relationship with my spouse and my kids and there's friendships. And what would it look like? And in many regards, for some of us, it will require a shift for us to get to that place. But in life, you either shift or you drift. And we don't drift towards good things. The right vision allows our lives to shift and move towards God's design. So can we get practical today? I'm going to go through those 5 things. A relationship with God, a healthy soul, a growing, enjoyable marriage, capturing the hearts of your kids, and living in a life-giving community. I'm going to go through all of those and just get real practical and give you one point of vision for each one of those. And here's the first one when it comes to friends. You'll never have the right friends if you don't make time for them. Some of us are complaining to God about, I don't have that friend, and I don't have that community, and I don't have those people around me, and I don't have that, and I don't have that, and you're not making any time and space in your life to find the right friends. Now, the truth is that you've probably got friends. It might be your sister, it might be your mama, but there's people in your life that are occupying those spots. Statistically, we know that on average, most people are the average of their 5 closest friends. Take financial earnings, look at marriages. How do you do relationships? Most people are the average of their 5 closest friends. Do you want the marriage of your close friends? Do you want to live in that kind of drama and that kind of stuff? Do you want that? All right? Because maybe you don't have the right friends. Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Walk with the wise. You want a better marriage? Look, get around some people that got a good marriage and spend some time with them. You want to win with money? Get around some people who are winning with money. Walk with the wise and become wise. But if you're a companion of fools, your life is going to suffer harm. If fun is your goal, keep those friends. But if you want those other things that I talked about, you might need to change your vision. All right, so let me explain some terms that I said. I said that your relationships in that community, those friendships, need to be mutually invested in life-giving. What does it mean to be mutually invested? It means I'm pouring out into you and you're pouring out into me. Now, we could think about this as kind of like a stream. There are relationships where people are pouring into us. I need some people upstream. I'm not pouring into them, they're just upstream. Okay, they're pouring into me. I need a downstream. There's some people that they're not pouring into me, but I'm pouring out into them. And I'm passing on what God's given me. I'm sharing the lessons that I've went through. But those aren't friendships. That's a mentor, a coach. These are people that I'm fathering and leading. But friends are mutually invested. I'm pouring into you, you're pouring into me. Mutually invested in life-giving. I leave them and I feel like somebody just kind of lit something inside of me. I feel full of life. I feel encouraged. I don't feel drained. They're not draining my life. They're giving me life. And you will know why church is so important. Because in a place like this, you'll find that with people that don't look like you, vote like you, think like you, and live like you. That's why redemptive community engages us with people who we might not normally be friends with. If you want to keep having fun, you can stay with those friends. But if you want something different, you probably need some new friends. So can we get real practical? If you want to really take a step forward, get in a group. Get in a group. It might be during the summer, you might be saying, hey, I know on our schedule it's not a time for us really to kind of join a small group, but join a serve group. If you're not serving, it gets you around other people. All right, join a serve group. Show up, help set up. All right, get involved. Stand outside, wave at somebody. Give somebody some high fives. And once you're in a group, use the margin this summer to be together more. If your frequency is once a month, start doing something else during the summer. Why? Because we're better together, so we need to be together. We need to be together. You can't, if we are truly better together, we'll never be better unless we are together. I want you to be invested. Make some time this summer for developing the right friendships. Because what do we need? We need a community of mutually invested, life-giving friends. So when it comes to parenting, can I give you this vision? Increase your influence with your kids by meeting them at their heart level. At their heart level. And what that does is that influence that God's given you in their life, when you meet them at their heart level, it begins to increase. The most important thing in this generation of parenting is maintaining influence in the hearts of your kids. Something is going to capture their hearts. It might be a parent down the street. It might be a coach. It might be a YouTube personality. Something is going to capture their hearts. And Mom and Dad, I want you to hear what I'm saying. That's supposed to be you. Now think about how we do parenting. Most of the time, we want our kids to meet us on our level. Clean your room to my liking. Eat the veggies that I cooked because I cooked this meal and it's healthy. But where can your kids meet you at their heart level? Where can you in your life know this is a place where their heart is at and I can meet them at their heart level? Don't ask them to join you. Find ways that you can join them. Your kids want to go throw the ball in the backyard? Go throw the ball. Your kids want to sit down and play a board game? Sit down and play a board game. They want to go for a walk in the park? Go for a walk in the park. Whatever your kids, wherever their heart is engaged, meet them at their heart level. Can we just be practical about this? The activity doesn't matter, but the conversation does. It can be throwing a ball. It can be doing some yard work if they're into that. It can be sitting down on the floor playing a game with them. You might be a dad and your little girl might say, Dad, would you play some Barbies with me? I just want you to know the answer should be yes. I will go play some Barbies with you. The activity doesn't matter, but the conversation does. Look at Deuteronomy chapter 6. This is one of the most important verses in the Old Testament for rabbis as they taught parenting. Impress these commandments. Moses has just talked about the 10 commandments. Impress these commandments on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Look at this. Look at this. The activity changes. Sit at home, walk along the road, lie down, get up. But the activity that's actually happening underneath all of it, the purpose of it, doesn't talk about the commandments of God. When you meet your kids at their heart level, use those moments to intentionally talk to them about God. Listen, somebody's going to disciple your kids. Somebody is. It might be a teacher. It might be a parent down the street. It might be a coach. It might be a TV personality. It might be a band. It might be somebody somewhere that you don't even know about. Somebody's going to disciple your kids and teach them how to understand the world. Mom and Dad, it should be you. Meet them at their heart level. Engage their heart. Hold their heart. Keep their heart. You'll never be able to parent them in this culture if you don't. Let's have a vision for parenting that's not just behavior, but it's engaging the hearts of our kids. And let's do that this summer. Number 3, let's talk about marriage. I want you to see this. A healthy marriage is grown. Some of y'all look over there and you go, well, they have such a great marriage. I wish we could read that book that they read, then it would fix. No, a healthy marriage is grown. How do things grow? Think about that. A lot of us have gardens, and we put some seeds in the ground, and we got some soil, put some fertilizer on a few months from now, a few weeks from now, we might be having some tomatoes and some cucumbers and some squash. That's how it works, right? Seeds, some fertilizer, give it some time, and then God causes it to grow. Can I ask a really difficult question? What kinds of seeds are you planting in your marriage? What kinds of seeds? What are the seeds that you're dropping into the soil of your spouse? Because some of us, we're looking at what it's producing and we're going, no, I don't like that. I don't like the fruit. I don't like where we are right now. But it's all directly connected to the seeds you've planted. I was reading in Proverbs 6, which is really contains this passage that historically they kind of took what we call the 7 deadly sins, which really this is all sin is deadly. That's what all sin. It's not just 7 of them, right? Everything that's sinful is deadly. But there's a passage that lists out this, and it actually says something that I want to look at. Look at what it says. There's 6 things the Lord hates, no 7 things he detests. That's where the 7 deadly sins comes from. And then it lists them out. But look at what it says here in verse 19. A false witness who pours out lies, a person who sows discord in a family. Somebody who's lying, who doesn't believe the good in somebody else, who literally, I see that, but I say this, I see that, but I say this, and what's happening? A person who's sowing discord in a family. You can sow sinful seeds. And when you do, you reap a harvest of unrighteousness. All those sinful seeds that you drop in the soil of your spouse are going to grow up into something that's not good, that takes you away from the right plan of God. Instead, sow seeds of encouragement, kindness, and love. I mean, intentionally. Talk about your spouse to your spouse in a way that's encouraging and kind and loving. Speak to them, this is important, speak to them about themselves in a way that you want them to be, not as you see them being. You know what? I love you. You're going to be one of the strongest spiritual warriors I've ever known in my life. Oh, you're a good dad. You're a good dad. I don't know that our kids could make it for the rest of their life and get everything that God wants them to get outside of somebody like you. God made you for this. He made you for this. You're a great mom. I watch you with our kids. Man, they're getting something from you that they couldn't get from anybody else. God made you to be their mama. I'm so proud of you. I see you going after God. I'm so proud of your relationship. Speak about them. Plant those seeds. Speak about them in a way that you want them to be. Not just as you think. Don't highlight their failures. Why? Because we're all going to fail. What's it take for something to grow? Seeds and then fertilizer. Fertilizer is the failure, right? Y'all know what we use for fertilizer, right? You smell it around here in the spring when we're starting to plant some crops. It's not good. It's actually a waste product. But think about it. It's a waste product, but somehow it becomes something that produces something. Can I give you just some advice there? Learn to fail forward. So many times when there's failure, we look at, why'd you do that? It's never going to be right again. No, fail for every conflict in your marriage is an opportunity for growth. I remember being in our premarital counselor's office, and he was an older guy at that time, and that was, it feels 18 years ago, and I remember looking at a little cross-stitched thing from his wife on the wall that said those words, and boy, it is true. Every time you go through something difficult, every time there's failure, it can be fertilizer. Fail forward. And then think about time, right? Time. That's what it takes. Seeds, fertilizer, and time. Give the gift of attention and time to your spouse. You need to make some time this summer to grow that relationship. Y'all listen to me. That ain't with a group of friends. That ain't with your kids. That's one-on-one with you and your spouse. You need to get away. You need to have some dates. You need some time. Give them the gift of attention and time. And most importantly, learn to do this. Trust God with your marriage and with your spouse. You need to be able to take, God, I see this failure. I see this difficulty. I'm struggling with it. Don't try to manage it and manipulate it. Look, put it in the hands of God and trust God with it. He can do more than you can ever do on your own. So when we think about our souls, right, just what's going on the inside, our minds and our hearts. We just came off of a series where I talked about winning that war in your mind. I want you to hear this. This is a vision for your soul. Accept the responsibility to care for your own soul. Accept the responsibility. So many of us don't like what's happening in our minds. We don't like what's happening in our hearts. I'm not happy with the anxiety. I don't like the fear. I don't want to worry that much. I'm stressed out about that, and it's affecting the time that I'm spending with my family. We don't like it, but nobody can do this for you. Other people in your life will rarely prioritize your soul as high as it should be. And if they do, if there are people around you who are like, listen, your heart's not in a good place, you need to do something about it. Those are people that you need to notice that and elevate their importance in your life. The soul is our heart and our mind. So how do you care for your soul? How do you do that? It's real simple. But it's an answer we don't like most of the time. It takes dedicated time. It takes time to do that. There's a story, and I've told this story before, but it just bears repeating now. There's an old mountain town in North Carolina. It really just runs off of the little river that runs right through it. All the businesses kind of function off that. There's merchant shops and kayaking and whitewater rafting and it really thrives off that river. And the old town employed a guy who went around and he cleaned out all the tributaries, all the little creeks flowing into that river. And that was his job. And they kind of hit a place not too long ago where they didn't have as much money as they used to. And so they cut his job. And before too long, the river went from being pristine and clear to being muddy. And all of a sudden, people would come in and I don't know that I want to get in that river. That doesn't look real clean. Move on and go somewhere else instead of stopping and spending time in that little community. And they started to see that there was some impact. And they brought the old guy in and said, you know, we don't understand why the river is now, it used to be clear and it's not anymore. It's cloudy and it's muddy and people aren't wanting to get into it and go kayaking and rafting. We're losing business. Why is it happening? He said, well, I was doing a lot of work that you couldn't see. And you decided that what I was doing wasn't important. And what's happened is that all of those creeks have now filled up with debris, and it's causing this kind of silt to run through the water, and it's coming out muddy. And because they're not flowing clean and they're all clogged up, this river is now contaminated. So they brought the old guy in and said, well, hire you back then. Go back to work. And before too long, the river started, as he began to clean out the creeks, started to flow clean again. You know, we've got to understand that there's stuff on the inside of us it's not good. It's trash. It's lies from the enemy. It's hurts from the past. It's broken ways of thinking. It's us adopting the ways of this world. And it's trash. And we've got to take time to examine our mind and our heart. It takes time to do that. You know, if you keep doing the same things, you'll keep getting the same things. And so every once in a while, it's a really good practice to step back in life and just say, God, would you speak to me? Would you show me something? I love to pray Psalm 139. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there's any offensive way in me and lead me. Lead me in the way everlasting. I promise you, as you begin to go before God and say, God, test me. Test me. Show me if there's anything inside that's offensive. God's going to show you that there's some stuff inside that's a lot like trash. And what do? It's real. Just take out the trash. Take out the trash and replace it with God's word. Where there's lies, take out the lies and replace it with the truth of God. Where there's hurt and bitterness, replace it with forgiveness and grace. Where there's difficulty, where there's struggle, give it to God and replace it with the Word of God. You're responsible for your soul. Nobody else is. Nobody else can take care of your heart and your mind. When there's buildup, when there's struggle, when there's difficulty on the inside, there's nobody else that can do that except you. It really comes back to you. And so if you want a healthy soul, if you want to get 3 months from now and look back and go, I'm doing better on the inside than I ever have, you got to take responsibility for your soul. And then when it comes to our relationship with God, make your relationship with God supremely central in everything you do. In everything. I want there to be some people who are watching this today who change their vision about life. Who stop saying, you know what, I love to have a good time. You know, I'm trying to I need some breaks. Life's a struggle and I just need to get out of here for a little while. I want some people to decide that I'm going to change the way I view my life, and from here on out, God is most important. If you do that, it'll literally change everything. You go on a vacation this summer, and what happens is all of a sudden your goal becomes, I'm getting away, but I'm going to come back closer to God than I've ever been in my life. I got a busy weekend coming up. You know what? It's an opportunity for me to trust God to be my strength. I'm just tired and I need some rest. You know what Jesus said? Jesus said, come to me, all you who are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Maybe the vision that you've had is, I want to have some fun, but you want to know what? That's not a bad thing. 1 Timothy 6:17 says that God has richly given us all things to enjoy, but you get to see the perspective in that verse that God gave it to me. It's a gift. Fun is not my God. My God is Jesus Christ. I'm going to serve Him. I'm going to give Him my life. I might need a break, but I'm going to step back and I'm going to ask God, God, would you give me some wisdom? Because I don't want to walk into the same stuff, the same broken patterns again. I want to walk in with a supernatural change. If you make God supremely central, it'll change everything else in your life. There's a verse, and I'm going to pray as we read this that you'll see the wisdom of Jesus, and that it will change the way you think about this summer. Matthew 6:31 and 32. Notice don't worry about these things. Saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? What will we wear? These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers. But your heavenly Father already knows your needs. Now, isn't that what our summers are? Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? I want to go there. We can go eat there. We can go get some drinks over there. And I'd love to go. I've got this perfect outfit for that. I know what I can wear. And then he's saying, no. Don't spend your life worrying about those things. As a matter of fact, he goes on to say, your heavenly Father already knows what you need. And in the next verse, he says something that has radically reshaped my life. Notice what he says. Seek the kingdom of God above all else and live righteously, and he will give you everything you need. If I decide that I'm gonna go after God supremely and first, and when God gives me directions, I'm going to live righteously, I'm going to live in right accordance to what He's directed in my life, then what Jesus is saying, listen, if you do that, God's going to take care of everything you need. Somebody needs to decide that things are going to change this summer. Things are going to change in my life. I want something different. I can't keep doing the same old things. You've got to change your vision if you want something different. And if you're thinking about that and going, what? I mean, I'd love to have a stronger relationship with God, and I know I need to take some time to kind of manage my soul care. I hadn't been doing a good job with that, and I want to meet my kids on their heart level, but that sounds like it's going to take time to do that. And really, friends, I'd love to have better, but more time. This all takes time. Well, good news. Good news, it's the summer. It's a season where you have more time. So what if you got to September and you look back and you were able to say, you know what, my friendships are stronger. I needed some friends, and now I look around and I've got 2 or 3 friends that I didn't have 3 months ago, and they're encouraging me and they're pouring life into me, and when God gives something to me, I get to pour it into their hearts and they receive it, and there's something just beautiful about that. I've met my kids on their heart level, and now where it was so hard to lead them and I felt like I was yelling, now something's changed, and I've captured their hearts, and it's so easy to meet them right now where they are. My marriage is healthier. You know, it wasn't good 3 or 4 months ago, but it's growing, and I'm enjoying my spouse in a way I never have. My heart and my mind, I was struggling with worry and doubt and anxiety, and I'm not winning that battle every day, but I'm so much better than I was. And my relationship with God is stronger. I'm seeking the kingdom of God first in everything. When I think about a vacation, or I think about a weekend, or I think about a blessing when it comes to finances, or when we've got a little bit more time, I'm not hijacking all that stuff. I'm seeking God in it all. And I'm seeing that God is so faithful to bring what I need. What have you got to September and October and you're looking back? You might say no to a vacation so that you can say yes to that. You might have to say no to that trip that you've been planning, or that fun thing that you thought you were going to do, so that you could have some margin to pursue that. But you want to know what? If you get to September and October and you're looking back and that's what's in your hands, I'm going to promise you something, that you're going to say it was all worth it. It was all worth it. God, give us the vision. Give us the vision to see this summer as an opportunity to win some fights that we've been neglecting. We've been fighting the wrong fight. Help us to fight the right one, to go after you, to take care of our soul, to grow our marriage, to meet our kids at their heart level, and to spend time with friends